from Drake Queen Gaming. Just so you know, I'm Twitter the Gaming Drag today. I'm coming back at you to the Let's Play episode of Tennis Ace, June's Path. So yeah, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome awards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, we're up, and let's go. Alright. The screen exits its little demo video and finally blinks into a game start screen. The two of us are immediately dropped into a thick jungle, and there are already multiple pea-sized bullets being shot at us by a group of soldiers hiding under bushes. Wow, this game is wasting no time in trying to kill us, huh? No, that's not Contra. Was that Akari Warriors? Yeah, I think it's Akari Warriors. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, this was considered one of the most difficult games of the 80s. It's gobbled coins like no one's business. What? Almost as if on cue, as soon as June says those words, an enemy shoots a mortar at the two of us. June expertly jumps to the edge of the screen, narrowly dodging it by a few pixels. As for me, I get immediately blown up to bits. Literally to bits, since this is a 16-bit game. Clever joke, I know. What the hell? Careful, Yuichi-san, you only have 3 lives per player. If you lose all of them, you'll have to pay more. I look down at the little display on the card reader where it says 300 yen per session. This thing is freaking expensive for a game that can kill you just like that. Yuichi-san, pay attention to the game. Ah! I narrowly dodged into the barrage of bullets shot at me. June's character is darting around the screen, dodging everything that is thrown at him and massacring the enemy forces. Since this game is a side-scroller, we can only move forward. If I'm with him. So okay, side. Okay, so it's not the sides then. Okay. Yeah, it's not scrolling vertically. It's scrolling horizontally. Okay, so that's not Akari Warriors. I can quickly tell that I'm slowing him down. June can somehow make progress really fast in this thing, killing most of the enemies with expert precision. Meanwhile, it takes every bit of my well-trained reflexes just to avoid enemy fire. How are you doing all this? I've played this game so much when I was little that I memorized a lot of the enemy placements. You're kidding me. Careful, on the next screen there will be an enemy helicopter flying overhead and dropping lots of bombs. You have to shoot up to destroy it and dodge all the normal enemy units at the same time. As soon as we cross some sort of invisible finish line, a sequence plays out where a giant helicopter that fills all the horizontal space of the screen appears just like June said. A character with a cartoonishly big head sits at the cockpit. He looks down at us and laughs before bombs begin to drop. Immediately, June is rolling and jumping around, dodging every single one of those and firing at the chopper. As for me, I get blown up for the second time in less than 3 minutes. Be careful! You only have 1 life left. This boss tends to be really good at sucking credits out of new players. You don't say. God, I feel absolutely useless. As soon as I respawn, I begin trying to mimic June's movements, trying desperately just to stay alive. Which, by the way, is much easier said than done. I think I counted less than 40 seconds before I was blown up again. Ah, Yuichi-san! Sorry, I guess I kind of suck at this. Wait, no. Good music. Man, I don't think I've ever sucked so bad at a game before. I'll just let him kill me and we can go play something else. No, you don't need to do that. Just have fun playing the game. I'll watch. You sure? Even though he keeps looking between me and the game, he continues to expertly dodge and fire at the same time. It's like this is super easy for him. Man, I know June is good at games, but this is kind of like ridiculous. Just how often did you play this thing? I think this was the only game I owned for over a year when I was small, so I played it every day. I don't know whether I should be sad or impressed. Eventually, June's efforts pay off as a helicopter begins to systematically explode. The pixely pilot turns to look at the screen with a look of terror before the whole thing finishes blowing up, taking him with it. This game definitely isn't ashamed about its own violence, huh? That's what makes it fun. It's just silly, fast-paced gaming. I'm not sure if I'd call it fun. Stressful? Sure. Not fun. Alright, let's see how long you can last on your own. I continue to stand behind him, watching him massacre waves of enemies all by himself through multiple stages. I don't even know how much time I spent watching him, although I'm somewhat dimly aware of the fact that he hasn't even died once yet. Seriously, how are you doing this? Your dodges are all pixel perfect. That's ridiculous. I had a lot of practice after all. How many levels does this thing have? As June continued to play, I noticed that each level got more and more bizarre. From a thick, densely packed jungle to a forward enemy base and a clearing to a boat level to a marine base. Then the aliens hit. The water turned purple, the skies dark, and hordes of weird flying things began to attack from above. I kind of lost count of how many weird new enemy types just kept appearing, but June apparently had all of them memorized. I'm on level 6 right now. This game is 10 levels. It probably won't last that much longer. You played over half the game without dying once? Are you kidding me? I'm pretty good at it, aren't I? You are, and definitely not humble about it either. Although after seeing just how easily this game kicked my ass, I guess he's entitled to feel proud of himself for it. The guy that had been playing before us seemed to be quite a few levels behind where Jun is now too. Ah! And then it happens. A single bullet barely grazes the foot of Jun's character mid-jump, and that causes him to explode. Damn it, that's one! I'm surprised it's only been just one. There's so many bullets flying by the screen right now that I can't even keep track of where they're coming from. I must have some really good hand-eye coordination. During the next level, Jun is suddenly sucked into what I assume is the alien mothership. He finds a bunch of frog-like things with cannons strapped to their backs. They jump around in weird patterns and spray bullets in circles that fly all over the screen. Just watching them all on screen is really starting to make me feel sick. Jun dies for the second time there. Just like before, he gets barely grazed by a bullet that causes his character to die. I have to say, for a veteran soldier, his character doesn't seem to be very resistant to, well, anything really. Like a bullet just hit your toe, dude. You don't need to explode because of that. Jun somehow manages to get past this level. There were many times where I thought he was a goner, but he clung to that last life. Ah! Level 9, just a bit more! His face was scrunched up in a look of frustration. He continued to mash the buttons on the machine. Jun was leaning so far toward his chair that he almost was touching the screen with his forehead. Second, y'all. Water time. Alright, y'all, we are back. Let's jump right back in, shall we? Alright. Careful, you're gonna hurt your eyes like that. Shh, not now! He, of course, brushed me aside completely. Ah! Jun jumps back on his seat as his character is hit for the third time. Once he explodes again, the entire screen is tinted red, the words Goom over, flashing brightly on the display in English. My guess is that whoever translated this wasn't doing a very good job. But then again, games back then had a ton of translation issues, so I guess I'll let that slide. Oh, I was so close this time. Sorry you didn't make it. Boo, let me try again. I stopped him before he could swipe the card on the machine. Hey! How about we try some of the other games instead? Boo! Booing me isn't going to change anything. I didn't come over here just to watch you play. Fine. Reluctantly, Jun steps away from the machine. We take a few rounds around the room, looking at any interesting games we might find. What's this thing? A Duramacher? What kind of game is this? Oh, it's a musical game. You pick girls to make an idol group and then you choose their training routines, their songs, their costumes, and stuff like that. Who would play this kind of thing? The songs are really nice, though. Yeah, no, not my thing. And most of the games here seem to be pretty old. I wonder why that is. They're all very popular, vintage machines. If you take a close look, you'll see that they're the machines with the players. People are lining up for a few of them. Sheesh, so much excitement just for a bunch of old games? Some people really like the classics, okay? Alright, calm down. No need to blow a gasket over this. Yuichi-san, you can be so insensitive with other people's interests sometimes. One second now. Speed. Okay. Hey, that's absolutely not true. But name what? Oh, I used to play this game as a kid too. He cuts me off mid-sentence, hopping towards a nearby machine, examining it with great enthusiasm. Why do I even bother? We do a few rounds across the place, blowing most of our credits on a multitude of games. Outside of a light gun game called Time Fortune, that was pretty fine. I can tell it was a game from the early 90s just by seeing how bad the 3D graphics were, but it was still pretty fun. We should still have enough credits for one more game, I suppose. Do you see that you want to play? I kind of just dragged us around everywhere and forced you to watch me play a bunch. I still had fun anyway. Maybe it would still make me feel better if you could pick something this time. Alright, sure. I saw a few I think we could play together. I'll just choose one of them. Sure, which one? I think over my options for a second, trying to decide which one to play. If I were going by names alone, I wouldn't pick either of these. They're so bad. But the gameplay of them seemed pretty interesting, and according to Jun, they're all cult classics, so I guess I should give one of them a try. Still, what is it about 80s and 90s games that makes most of them have terrible titles? It's like someone mistranslated them so badly no one had the heart to correct them. Well, no point overthinking this. The game I'll pick is... Boat of no longer living in boot of the southern celestial body, buildings and people, underground structure of blessing. What the fuck? Let's do boot of the southern celestial body. Let's do all of these. I'll go with this one. Okay. It's also a light gun shooter, but this one is against zombies and monsters instead of soldiers and armed to the teeth. And instead, it's a bunch of things armed with teeth. I walk up to the machine and grab one of the guns that is connected to it by a thick metallic cable. Oh, this one? That's a pretty good job. This game used to be super popular way back when. How about we give this a try? Sure, it should be fun. Once I load up the last of our credits into the machine, it springs to life. It shows us a quick screen asking us to aim at a multitude of reticles. And probably automatic calibration of the gun sensors to make sure no one gets screwed over by a bad gun. Once we're done with that, we're immediately popped into a really badly rendered 3D graveyard. Cries echo from the distance and the camera pans. We see hellish creatures rising from their graves and rushing at us. Careful! Jun definitely loses his cool on this one, firing wildly at anything that moves as he panics. Jun, that was a hostage we were supposed to save. Oh no! Rest in peace, purple 3D lady. You shall be remembered. No, Jun, you shot another hostage. No, Yuichi said I'm scared. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jun is humming the melody from one of the games he played, cheerfully making gestures with his fingers as he bops along to it. Alright, so let's upload that and go back and see. Boot of the Southern Celestial Body. This one seems interesting. It's a licensed game based on a popular anime from the 80s. I remember watching reruns of this, though all I remember about it is having a lot of death. I'm honestly surprised Mom let me watch this as a kid. How about this? Brings back a few childhood memories. Ooh, that one is pretty cool. I've never played it before, but from the demo videos on the screen, it looks like a reskin generic beat-em-up. Pretty much. It's still really fun, though. Yeah? Have you played it before? The console version of it, yeah. This has a console version? Yeah, the frame rate is worse, but they fixed a lot of the translation issues. Translation issues? Is it that bad? Well... Jun takes a card from my hand and swipes it on the machine. Immediately begins to play an intro scene, complete with many drawings of the characters talking. Protagonist, Jugemo, stares at his opponent who stands on a pile of garbage. The man points out the imposing lead, and his dialogue appears on the screen. All your base are belong to us, Jugemo. Oh my god. The very first line of the game is mistranslated. Yeah, it gets worse. Oh boy, this is gonna be awful, isn't it? Sometime later. Jun is humming the melody from one of the games he played, cheerfully making gestures with his fingers as he bops along to it. Alright, so... let's see... 1 second now. Water time. Alright, last one. Buildings and People, Underground Structure of Blessing. This sounds pretty fun. It's a beat-em-up with magic and wizards and a lot of underground structures. I guess the name describes it pretty well after all. Oh, this one. I think it's based on a popular tabletop RPG series, but I've never played any of it. Jun notices me staring intently at the machines and pipes up with some commentary. Tabletop RPG? What's that? They're basically RPGs you just play with your imagination. You write down your character, describe what you do, and roll dice. That doesn't sound very fun. I've never played it, so I wouldn't know. Still, it's pretty popular. This one was a success in arcades, too. Guess we could give this a try. Oh, it's a character select screen, even. Let's see, I'll pick this witch girl dressed in green. It says here her magic status is pretty high. Actually, what are all these characters? They look like a bunch of furless monkeys. Creeps me out. Jun picks some guy whose description says he's a barbarian, but he's wearing a suit and tie? What the hell? How do you use magic on this thing? Every button I press just makes her either jump or do a baton twirl. Baton twill. I forgot to mention, from what I read, this game is supposed to be set in a parody version of the real world, so there's no magic in it. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silvermoon. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to ultimate tier anyway. If y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.